This is Chick2Chick Uncut, raw and unfiltered.
There's a big chunk of the population that's made up of single adults, and that number keeps growing and growing. So here's a bit of a dilemma. You're not dating anyone, you don't have a significant other in your life. Maybe your friends are all busy, but you really want to travel. You really want to go somewhere. So what do? Do you just sit home and do nothing and don't go? Or do you pack your bags and hit the road? Now, I'm not talking about, some weekend trip to New York or maybe 4 days at the beach. I am talking about a major trip, 7 to 10 days, maybe going to Germany or Italy or Ireland or Greece or Australia, a major trip like that. Now, for me, I am a single adult. That sounds exhilarating, but at the same time, it sounds a little terrifying. So here's the question. Would you do something like that? Well, a friend of mine did that very thing. She packed her suitcase, she got on a plane alone, and went on the trip of a lifetime. Jeanette Louise is joining me on the podcast. Jeanette, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. You did it. You said you wanted to do it, and
I
you
did it.
really did it.
I did it.
It's amazing. All right. Before we get to all of that and talk about your trip and everything that went on, tell us about yourself a little bit. Professionally, what do you do? And then on the personal, and you're single, so tell us about that.
So I'm the owner of Storytelling Marketing Communications. I manage an agency. We provide branding, websites, social media, all those fun things to clients. And when I'm not doing that, I enjoy spending time with my friends and I enjoy shopping and going out to eat, traveling, all those fun things.
And you're single.
I am single.
You're
Yes.
single. And you've been
Yes.
single for a while, and you
Yes.
decided to go on this trip. So,
Mhm.
first of all, where did you go?
So I went to Germany.
And why did you decide to do this on your own? You took this solo trip. And by the way, solo trips, they're very popular and a lot of people are doing them. And why did you finally decide to do something like that?
I think my family's German American, and I have fond memories of my father talking about his time being stationed there. And earlier this year, I took my last name back, which is actually Grider. I don't use it professionally or anything, but getting my last name back, I kind of wanted to connect more with my identity. And I just thought, well, I'll just buy a ticket and then figure it out. And that's kind of what I did. I bought the airfare in April and just kind of put it all together.
But you did it by yourself.
Mhm.
Did you ask friends to go along, or did you say, screw it, I'm going by myself?
A couple of my friends tried to come along and, even the coordinating of that, it's not like it's a weekend at the beach to your point or a day in New York City. It's not a cheap date. I'm very blessed to have been able to have had that opportunity. Not everybody can do that.
And it was the first time you did it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I've gone out to dinner by myself and to things like that, but to go on the other side of the world where I don't know anyone and don't know how to get around and don't speak the language, no, I've not done that.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back to that day that you're at the airport. So
Yes.
every time I get on a plane, whether I'm by myself or I'm with a friend or I'm with my son, I start to panic a little bit. And I don't know why, but I'm usually with somebody, although I have traveled for work by myself. How did you feel getting on that plane with just you and your suitcase? What were you feeling right at that moment?
I seem to be that person that I either know someone wherever I go or else I make friends with a stranger and within minutes I know their life story. So kind of the latter is what happened. I started talking to a family before I boarded and they're like, "Hey, are you alone?" I said, "Yeah, I am." They're like, "You're brave." And then I boarded and I sat down and it was a really nice gentleman beside me and he's like, "Hey, we're going to be on this for a long time. Do you mind if I put this bag over top?" And we of course made the best of friends.
So you didn't feel alone then. You didn't feel that sense of anxiety. You felt comfortable right at the get-go.
I think it's just like throughout the stages of it, everything just kind of came together, like traveling next to a gentleman that was from Spain, and he's an engineer of his own company, and he's showing me the map, as we're traveling, and he's showing me all these different countries and all these different places that are really fun. And he was very kind to me, and even getting off the plane, like he in Munich showed me kind of where to go to like go off on my way. When you're even in a new airport, to your point, that's not easy. And he was just like, "Hey, you come with me."
Okay, so you're feeling great. You made some friends. You get to Germany and you step off that plane. Now what?
That was kind of a wake up moment because it was 10:30 in the morning, which is 4:30, here in the morning. And I kind of had a game plan that I knew it was going to take multiple forms of transportation to get to my next destination. And I thought, well, I'm just going to pay an Uber or something to get there. And when I put the destination in my phone, it said $250. And I was like, ooh, I didn't mind paying like $100, but $250. So I had a hard time getting like a train ticket. And the gentleman that sold me my train ticket sold it to me completely in German. So as I had to read it and understand where to go, there was like 5 different trains and buses that I had to take.
Oh boy.
And I'm reading it in German and not understanding where to go, and all that was very challenging.
So how did you get through it?
Um,
Because I think I would have cried. I gotta be honest with you. I think I would have burst into tears and turned around and got back on the plane and come back home to the States. How did you get through this?
I think I'm blessed that I'm an extrovert, so I'm very comfortable going up to a stranger and showing them a piece of paper and saying, "Where am I supposed to be?" And going up to strangers and saying, "Excuse me, can you speak English?" So I found myself doing that a lot the whole week.
Were people helpful? Were they kind with you? Did they take pity on you? How did that go?
So my first drop off was almost kind of like a little village that I was dropped off by a bus. I'm like, okay, I have no idea where I am and why I'm here. And I went up to somebody and I showed him my paper, and he's trying to tell me he can't speak English, but I'm just like pointing. And he ended up giving me his Wi-Fi because he's like trying to tell me to look up Google Maps. And I mean, everybody was just very kind to me all week.
That's nice. That's really nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so uh tell me about all the different places you went to in Germany and how you were feeling as you were going from place to place.
Well, my first evening was that adventure where I went on a million different, it was like the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It was like that to get to my destination. I lost my purse, like as
Oh,
in left my purse on a bus,
oh,
and recognized that when I was jumping in a cab with 2 Americans and 2 Russians that I had just befriended. The Russian was able to translate English to German to my cab driver, who was able to talk to my bus driver. And after, I don't know, 12 hours, I ended up getting my purse back, but that had my identification, my cash, everything in it. So, of course, that was obviously an awful experience, but I feel like it was the story of things happen for a reason. So because of that, I had this beautiful dinner right outside the big castle in Germany, and it's, snowing and it's cold and it's freezing, and this castle's in your background, and we're in like a castle-like restaurant in the hotel, and I'm having dinner with a mother and daughter from Russia, and I learned so much from that experience that was just so unexpected and unplanned about what their culture's like, and they learned about what ours was like, and mom said to daughter to tell me in English, because she couldn't speak English, that this is one of the best, things that has ever happened to her, and I was like, "I agree, this was just wonderful."
wait,
So
did you
just
get
kind
your
of
purse back?
I did I
What
did, and
happened to your purse?
it was on the bus, I think with, like the 24 hours of travel, I was just tired and I left it behind. And as I'm trying to get it back from the cab driver, he was kind of giving me the runaround. And the German lady that worked at the hotel, she was like, "Let me call for you." And she was just kind of aggressive on my behalf in her language. And she was like, "Your purse will be here in 5 minutes."
Wow.
So, yeah, I just sent her Hershey chocolate and sent her a message, and Flora, she was so kind. She was just like, "I'm just glad we got your purse back, and you have to come see me again."
Wow. So
Mhm.
after all that, you left your purse on the bus and you got it back.
Yes,
And then you
with
ended up
my
having
cash in it too.
it
Everything,
everything was there.
everything.
Wow. Okay. So you've been through a lot, right? You just get off this plane, you've got to take all these planes, trains, and automobiles, you lose
Yes,
your purse, and you're
yes.
still feeling good about this trip. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Well, when I was going to sleep that night and, he's like, "Oh, I'll have it for you in the morning." And I'm just like, "I just kind of wanna die now. Like, this was a really stupid idea. Why did I do this?" Um, and then when I got it back, like, I was like, "Okay, like, I've learned how to problem solve. I learned how to figure it out." And it was a wonderful week.
And you met some nice people along the way. So
Uh-huh.
tell us about some other places that you went to in Germany.
Okay, I went to I call it Stuttgart, but you're supposed to say Stuttgart.
Stuttgart. Yes.
Yes, and even that, we had a delay with my train, and I wanted to go to the Mercedes Museum, that didn't happen. So I ended up going to a town called Heidelberg, which is absolutely lovely, very storybook-like, toured a castle, and even that, like, I didn't have cash euros on me, and they wanted, cash for me to put my bag in a locker, and he just gave me a free token, was like, "Here." I mean, people were just so very kind. I went to Cologne to where the big cathedral is. I went to the Lindt Chocolate Museum. They have a train in Cologne that takes you to all the different Christmas markets. And I met people from the Netherlands and the UK there that were all super nice. Um, I'm afraid of heights, and I went on, like, their version of the eye in the Cologne, and the family in front of me, when they were getting off, they saw that I was, like, holding on you know, um, for my life, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Were you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm afraid of heights." They're like, "And you did that, you're really brave." And I said, "Yeah, I'm really stupid, but, um, I did
Brave,
it."
stupid, brave, stupid.
I took the train from Cologne to Mannheim, which is like their music city, kind of their version of Nashville or Memphis, and that train floor was right on the Rhine River, so the people that take that Rhine River cruise, I got to see all of that, all those
Wow.
castles, and I went to Munich, and, I met nice young college girls from Denmark that were also telling me about their culture and what college looks like for them, and, went to more Christmas markets. I mean, it was just a really good experience.
And how many days were you gone?
A full week.
A full week.
Mhm.
It sounds amazing. Now, did you plan all of this on your own or did you
Mhm.
use a travel agent?
I did it all on my own. And I hear people, they'll say, "Oh, yeah, I've gone on vacation by myself too," but they end up going on a tour. So they're with other people and they have kind of an itinerary. And this is where you need to go on and jump on this bus to get to the next destination. I had to figure all that out. And sometimes going from city to city over there, it's all in German. The conductors on the train are speaking German. Um, and sometimes you're taking multiple buses or multiple trains to get to one destination that's maybe only a couple hours away.
So
It's not easy.
I'm trying to figure out whether you're brave or you're just stupid.
I think I'm just stupid. I really am.
No, I mean, honestly, this sounds amazing and it sounds fantastic. Um, you did this all on your own and you met a lot of people along the
Yep.
way, as you pointed out. But when you got back to the hotel at night, or when you were standing marveling at that castle, did you feel lonely? Did you feel like, gosh, I wish my friend was here with me? Did you feel that way?
Now, you know me, I'm so goofy. I have my headphones in and I'm listening to music, and I think I was in Munich, like, doing the Tootsie Roll dance, like, as markets, and I'm, like, just dancing, and singing along to my music and having a good old time. All my friends, you guys were all super supportive and texted me and checked on me, so I felt like I still had connection because I, of course, had a data plan to be able to check in with you all.
Yeah. And so you never felt alone, even at the hotel at night when you'd go in there and you laid down. Did you feel alone?
So this is interesting, and I don't know if all of Europe is like this, but if you put on your hotel reservation that it's just for one instead of two, they try to give you a twin bed, which is kind of like demoralizing. So I upgraded at all the hotels to like a full size bed, so I didn't feel like a 4-year-old. Except for the hotel that I stayed in where I was at the castle and didn't have a purse. And I walked in that the first night, and this was, of course, after losing my purse and everything, and I open it up, and it looks like a castle, and my bed looked like a little boat bed that I had for my son when he was a toddler. I'm like, right. So the single
Yeah.
lady has to like sleep like in the little kid bed because there's no one beside her. Okay. But after
Well,
that, I was in a full-size bed.
so that's a good tip there. So when you're traveling alone, what are you supposed to do then to make sure you don't wind up in the kitty bed?
Upgrade, like really make sure that you look because it will say twin and you need to upgrade to full unless you want to feel like demoralized. And it might be like 20 or $30 more a night, but whatever.
So you talk to a lot of people,
Mhm.
and I'm wondering, do you think that the fact that you were alone,
Yeah.
and these people saw that you were alone, they were more inclined to speak to you? Because I mean, I went to Switzerland last year with my son. I don't think anybody talked to us the whole week. I don't remember that. Do you think that that made them, "Oh, I think we wanna go talk to her," or did you just approach them?
Well, I noticed like morning I woke up in the castle and I'm having breakfast in the castles, in the background is this beautiful breakfast. And there's a couple by me, and she was taking pictures of him. And I thought, I bet she would really like her picture taken with him and, to have the castle in the background. So I was like, would you like me to take a picture? And they're like, "Yeah, that was really nice." And he said to me, he asked where I was from, and he's like, "Yeah, I can tell you're from," they always say over there, USA, because they're like, "You're so friendly, and you're so nice." And so it's interesting that they think that us Americans are friendly and nice. And I think just because to your point, I approached them first. Yeah. But I think in most of the cases, yeah, I did talk to people first, and I think people are less intimidated when you're alone. People won't come up to you when you're with another person or in a crowd, right? But when you're
Yeah.
alone, people seem to be less intimidated, socially.
Mhm. And so, yeah, they wanna chat with you.
Mhm.
What did you learn about yourself on this trip?
Well, I think it was just very good for my soul in that, even like the losing of my purse, which of course was horrible, I learned how to problem solve. And I think that when you don't know what the unknown is, that is a big fear in life, right? When
Yep.
you're afraid to do things because you just don't know. So, yeah, is there a fear of can I do this on my own? Can I figure it out? Can I keep myself safe? I think sometimes as a female, we think that we need a male companion just to keep ourselves safe. So what was he gonna do, like, when I lost my purse, right? What was he gonna do, right?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there was nothing he could have done, he would have been tired too, right?
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think having a male with me or, even you for that matter would have made me any safer or helped me learn how to problem solve or learn how to understand where I'm going on the train system. But it was almost kind of like when you're able to do something that you don't know and be successful, then what other things can I do that I thought I couldn't do?
Yeah, it feels like a huge victory. You're like, "Yeah, I did
Yeah.
this. This is awesome." You
Yeah.
did bring up a big word, though. You talked about safe, and
Yes.
did you ever not feel safe traveling and walking around? And I'm sure you were out walking at night by yourself?
Yeah. I found Germany to be so incredibly safe, that when my friends and family were checking on me, I said, I'm actually more worried because I flew into JFK, had to take 2 trains to get to the train station at Penn Station and then take the train to Harrisburg. It was like, I'm more worried about safety in my own country than I am in Germany.
Wow.
Yes,
Uh,
because the train stations there, they're clean. There's not, people yelling at you and acting foolish like they are in the big cities here.
huh. So you actually felt safer there
Safer
than in
by
your own
far.
country. Huh.
And they don't have guns there, and most of their police do not have guns, and they're just disciplined, they're rule followers. You really don't have anything to worry about.
Yes, they're German. They like to follow rules. I get
Yes.
that. So, what do you think, you said what you learned about yourself and you figured out, you know what, something big comes along, I can do this. What would you have done differently if you could do it again? You said you planned this trip on your own. In
Yeah.
hindsight, was that a good thing to do, or do you think maybe you should have had a travel agent help you out?
I mean, think I think most people that were kind of in my shoes would look for a tour, right? And book it and spend the coin and have it, where the bus driver is taking you to all the different destinations
Yeah.
because it is stressful trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B. But I was able to do it.
But would you do it again this way? Or do you think that maybe going with a tour or, having a travel agent help you would have made things a little easier for you? Because that's stressful,
Yeah,
trying to figure out their transportation system. They have an amazing transportation
they
system,
do.
but it's tough to navigate.
Right. Like going that first stop from the airport to 5 different trains and buses to where I ended up. That was not fun, after already flying and traveling over here. I could have talked to a travel agent who would have said, Jeanette, I think you should stay in Munich your first night. And there are tours that you get on a bus for $70 and it takes you to that castle and back and you don't spend the night. That may have been a better gig.
So, in hindsight, maybe you could have done things a little bit differently
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
alleviate some of your stress.
Yeah, I mean, I was really torn. Like, do I stay in Munich for the week and, just take, because I could have kept my things there and then just transferred wherever I wanted to go. And if I was having fun in, say, Cologne, I would just get a hotel and spend the night there. That may have been an easier lift.
Yeah. Did you notice other people traveling alone?
No, but everyone noticed me traveling alone.
So you didn't see anybody else doing what you said was either brave or stupid.
No, I'm the stupid one.
Yeah, you're the stupid one.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think was the most memorable thing that happened to you during this trip?
Well, honestly, I feel like that incident with my purse, while it was bad, it kind of almost restored my faith in humanity that there are good people out there. I mean, all of it, because the Russians that just met me offered to give me money to get me home. I mean, could you even imagine?
No.
And they're hugging me and texting me, like, have you gotten your purse back yet? So to see strangers just truly be, giving and kind and honest was a big part of the trip.
Yeah, that was certainly a remarkable moment. What about just the memories in general? What is you are you going to remember most from this trip aside from that incident with your purse? Either something that you saw or just your feelings in general about going on this massive major trip by yourself.
Well, of course, there's the confidence, and, I mean, I learned a lot about the culture, especially in talking to people from other countries. They're very surprised by the fact that we have guns here, and, you can like, I'm a Monster drinker, so I'm, like, jonesing for a Monster over there, which was a little bit hard to find. So was, like, diet sodas.
Yeah.
And I found a vending machine. I'm like, "Is that a Monster or is that a 40?" And, to see, like, a 40-ounce beer in a vending machine that a four-year-old could, put a couple euros in and buy, their systems are very different than ours. You have to pay to go to the bathroom over there, but their bathrooms are immaculate. What are we doing wrong here that we're not taking care of our land properly and we're not being kind to other people? Like, what
Hmm.
could we do better here in the States? And what could I take from that experience and, empower and inspire other people to be better here?
I know you have kids. You know, I have a son.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
Sean, and
Yeah.
I love to travel with him. Were you yearning for maybe your daughter or your son to be with you on this trip?
I mean, if they hear this, I love them to pieces, right? Of course, but I've spent 20 some years raising kids. I need to start doing some things on my own. And when you become a mom, you end up like giving everything to them and doing everything for them. And while it feels like a little uncomfortable to do for me, it also felt good.
Ah, this was like self care for you.
Hmm.
Time
Yeah.
for you to unplug and just focus on you and what you wanted to do because I mean, you bring up an interesting point. I went on that trip last year to Switzerland with Sean, and there were some things that I wanted to do. And he's a little bit of a picky eater. And people would say to me, "Oh, I bet you went to some incredible restaurants." And I'm like, we went to McDonald's, because he will only
No.
have chicken nuggets and French fries.
No. Sean,
True
no.
story. True story. So I get your point and I understand. And while I love him dearly, the picky eating thing, like it was on my last nerve. So I do get that. So what's next? Are you planning another solo trip? What are you thinking?
I think so. Mm,
Where?
I'm
You can
thinking,
tell me. I won't tell
okay.
anyone. Where are
Yeah,
you
no
going to
one will
go?
hear this. I think next July, I'm thinking about maybe Maine and doing like some of the state parks there in New England and things like that. And then I'm also thinking for my next big trip, something exotic, like maybe like Vietnam or something like that.
And you want to do it alone. You're already
Probably.
thinking ahead. Like you're not thinking about inviting a friend or inviting your kids to go along. You've already decided in your head you want to do this alone, even in the future.
I mean, I think with the kids being adults now, their schedules are challenging, and especially to get them all together, or even one of them, that's challenging. But if they heard this and said, Mom, I want to go to Maine with you, I'm not going to say no. Or,
Yeah.
Mom, could I go to Vietnam with you? I'm not going to say no. Or even one of my friends might see this and be like, Jeanette, are you serious? You're going to go to Vietnam and I can't come with you? I wouldn't be surprised if that wouldn't happen. And maybe I'll inspire others to be open to try new things.
But at this point, you're like, I'm doing this. If somebody decides they want to come along, I'll think about it.
That's right.
But and do you think like this is something you're going to continue to do
I
and
think
go
so.
on these solo trips?
I think so.
I'm starting to think that you like to travel by yourself more than you like to travel with other people.
Like, I love you all, um, right? It's the coordinating, like, do you ever have that friend where you go, "Hey, let's meet for drinks," and it's like, "I'm gonna sit in the car, and will you text me when you get there?" And I'm going, "Girl, just walk in, sit at the bar, I'll see you there," you
Yeah.
know? Or, like, is just so afraid to, like, do anything alone. I see a lot of that, and yeah.
So you're doing it. Maine, Vietnam, wherever. You're doing it. You have the guts now. You have the gusto to do it. Honestly, I love that. I don't think
Mhm.
you're stupid. I think you're brave. I don't know that I'm as brave as you, but I think that maybe you're inspiring me that maybe I might think about doing it. And for all of those people out there, men, women, single adults who are thinking about doing this, what advice would you give them? Give them some inspiration to hit book it. Give them
That
the inspiration they need.
I think doing something like this, it may sound small, but it's not easy. And, you learn how to get comfortable with yourself. And there's something to be said about that. And again, the amount of confidence and your courage, all those things are just going to soar from an experience like this. And I think the next time you're looking at something small, like for me, it's like maybe okay, I'm bidding on new business. Like, I'm scared. Like, can I do this? Right. Or
Yeah.
will I get this? Or, will they not think enough of me? Like, that kind of stuff almost kind of goes down here when you're like, look what I just did. I can do anything.
It's a huge accomplishment. What if somebody wanted some advice on, I honestly don't even know how I would go about booking a trip like this or figuring out a destination. And I know you've decided
Sure,
to go to Germany because of your family ties, but
sure.
give me some advice. Give folks at home who might be listening to this some advice on either picking a destination or even going about booking it. I don't know that I would know where to begin.
I mean, I think, like a AAA or a local travel agent, there's several in the area that are really good. They can put all that together for you and just kind of give you instructions as to what to do. And they can even figure out like what train for you to take, once you're in, like, say, a Munich or something. They can do that all that for you. Or I went on Facebook groups for I was over there for the Christmas markets. That was also part of what I wanted to do. So there's a ton of Facebook groups where people are asking questions and people are giving advice when they learn things, kind of like I did. There's lots of Facebook groups, and getting on that in advance like helps you put everything together. And the
Yeah,
other thing was the hotels. All my hotels were great and they were a great location. I used booking.com and I looked at the reviews, like, as far and I also looked at the location. So when I was getting off a train, making sure that I was no more than half a mile away.
that all helps. And again, you did this all on your own, but if somebody
Right.
isn't feeling very comfortable, they can either, as you said, have a travel agent help them out to figure it out, or maybe go on a tour.
That's
Maybe
right.
that first one, if you're having
Yes.
any type of angst or anxiety and you're like, I don't know that I want to do this, maybe going on a tour with a bunch of other people will alleviate some of that stress.
I think so, and I think that would also be a good way to make new friends too, because, if you're on a tour bus going from, stop to stop, you have to talk to people.
Yeah. And you don't know. You could just be making friends for life when you go on some of these trips and some of these excursions. I've done that before and I've met some really great people. And that's all part of the process. And it's all part of the adventure. And it's all part of the memories that you create when you go off on these different, adventures and you meet these people along the way. Like, are you ever going to forget the Russian mom and daughter that you met and
No,
you had dinner with?
no, no.
Made a big
It's
difference.
special. It was so special.
So, as we wrap up this podcast, which I think is amazing and I think it's great, and I'm so proud of you for doing it. I was rooting for you the whole time, and I'm like, oh, what is she doing? Is she okay? What's your final message for anyone who is thinking about doing something like this? Um, what's your message?
Well, I think, I'm 48, and even at 48, I find myself seeing my friends that are going through health struggles and things like that. And I think we put things off and we go, okay, when I retire, I'm going to do this, or someday. Yeah, someday I'll go to Germany. Someday. Make someday today, because you have no idea what tomorrow brings. You don't know when Father Time is going to knock on your door, or you're gonna have a health issue. I mean, that castle I went to was a 45-minute walk up a mountain, and, I don't know if I could handle that in 10 or 15 years. It was a monster. Um, you don't know what tomorrow brings. Make whatever it is that you wanna do in your life happen today.
Yeah, I think that is a great, great message. And to your point, when you're 70, 75, you might not be able to accomplish some of
No.
these things that you just mentioned that you can do when you're younger. And when you're younger, you're like, I don't have time to do it. Do it.
Right.
Do it. Go and enjoy your life. Go on these adventures. Don't sit home and be brave because I think you're brave. And I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast and thanks for sharing your solo trip to Germany with us, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think Jeanette had a lot of good things to say. She made a lot of great points along the way. I think I might be a little bit of a chicken to do what she did, but I think she might have inspired me, and I hope she inspired others uh, to go on a trip, take an adventure, take the plunge, pack that suitcase, and do what you want to do because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
right.
So, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. As always, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chick2Chick USA. That way, when we come out with a new podcast episode, you will get an alert on your phone. So, thanks again for tuning in today. Have a great day, and we will be back soon with a new podcast episode.